Hi guys, it's been a little while. Today is Sunday, the 3rd of April 2022, and I'm just going to make a quick video talking about what I always talk about, which is the interpretation of this iPad Go 2 video and the potential for another 9/11 attack, and trying to decipher roughly the time or date that this will happen. So let's get straight into it. You'll see here I've got the video up, and I've got a kind of new way of looking at it. We've looked at all these characters and these figures as some sort of count, like a count of 12 or 13, possibly representing days or months. I'm now looking at it as potentially representing years. So we have the first one here, which I believe, because the iPad 2 iPad Goat 2, excuse me, video was released in 2012, I feel that the count would start after that. So we have a 2013 and then 2014, linking over to 2015. Then I think this figure is 2016, 2017, 2018, the girl representing 2019, and then 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, and 2025. And that's where, in my interpretation for this video, that's where the count seems to end. So I'm going to just quickly explain why I think that that could be a potential interpretation. Not all of the figures I've managed to kind of connect to something in that year, but for some of them I have, and I think that they may be quite relevant. So starting with the character, which I think is 2014, it's got the deer or the stag on fire behind it, and I think that this could possibly be linked to the wildfires that happened in 2014. There were quite a few, but out of all of them, there were two that I think are quite interesting and possibly connected to this video, and referencing a potential time frame. And that's obviously Little Deer, which is highlighted here, and that could have a connection to this image that we see on the wall above this figure, which I think has a connection or reference to 2014. And there was another one called Meadow, which again, seems to have a connection with deers. At least that's what I know according to Bambi. So, I could be wrong on that point. Then the next figure I want to talk about is the 2016 character, excuse me. And I think, as a lot of you may agree, that this character has a distinct possible connection to Donald Trump. Just the sweep of the hair, and the posture of the figure with the hands pointing downwards between the legs when they're sitting down. That's something that Donald Trump does, and you can easily look that up online and have a look at that image. So that's possibly 2016 reference, which is when Donald Trump sort of, won the presidential election held on Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. So those are two possible connections, possibly linking to a reference of years, starting with 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. And then we move on to 2017, and that's the year that the UK sent to the European Council in writing the official documents formally triggering Article 50, which began the 2-year countdown to the UK leaving the EU, which we all know as Brexit. And obviously this character is sitting right next to the exit, so there could be a possible connection there, a reference to Brexit. So California wildfires, Little Deer and Meadow, Donald Trump, presidential election, Brexit, and then we have 2018, haven't got anything for that. And then we move on to 2019, borrowing a little interpretation from JK Bugout. He believes that the character of the girl here has a possible connection to Meghan Markle and the birth of Prince Archie. And if that's true, then the reference of years coming to 2019 is when Prince Archie was born on the 6th of May 2019. So it's possible that we have a timeline of years starting from 2013 to 2019, and then we're gone to 2020. And I haven't really brought up anything for that apart from the fact that we all know that in 2020 is when the COVID virus kind of shut everything down around the world. And obviously this figure with his chin resting on his hands has a, a sort of look of boredom, and that's pretty much what everyone was experiencing in 2020. And then I believe that this character is 2021, which is a similar kind of boredom, waiting for lockdown to be over. And then we jump back here, and I think that this character represents 2022. And I'm gonna do some interpretations of what I think may happen in 2022 in just a minute. But before I do, the whole connection with the coronavirus coming out in 2020, or as you saw in that article just there, kind of really, the reason it's called COVID-19 is because it was first discovered in 2019, right at the end of 2019. Kind of the first announcements came out in December of 2019, and it was in June of 2019 when I put out this video, watch out for SARS in 2019. And I believe in that video I did actually say December. I can't actually remember, but obviously if I watch it I will. But as you'll see, COVID-19 caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, otherwise known as SARS-CoV-2. You know, I didn't know about coronavirus 19, but the fact that the video I made kind of picked up an interpretation for SARS, and that was from the little tap dancing that George Bush does in the beginning of the video, seems to be quite significant. So I'll just keep that in mind as I'm doing these videos. I haven't done one for a long time, so, you know, picking up from where I've left off is a little bit difficult. So if that's 2022, then the rest, I think 2023, 2024, 2025. When I looked for some sort of connection to these figures representing 2023 and 2024, I remembered the eye here that we all kind of connect with an eclipse because it's got that ring around it. And then we've got the X on the mouth, could be various interpretations. But when you, and these figures are connected together, so if this is 2023 and 2024, perhaps it's referencing the eclipses that will happen in those years. Just make this a bit bigger over here. So you can see this X which crosses over the United States, and I think that may be connected to the X that's on the mouth of that figure over there. And obviously these are eclipses, the path of eclipses, which I think is connected to the circle on the eye. And we have in 2023 on the 14th of October an eclipse crossing one way over the United States, and then the following year on the 8th of April 2024 another eclipse crossing over, and that forms the X over the United States. So I think that may possibly be connected, and that will give us our 2023-2024 reference. And then we have 2025. All I can think with this big kind of crater in the head is some sort of impact over the years. Many years they've been talking about the possibility of an asteroid or meteor impact on the Earth. They have sent off their NASA DART. The NASA DART mission was successful, so they have sent spacecraft out into space searching for an asteroid to crash into. And we don't know what's going on up there, but, you know, if we have some sort of interpretation here, it could be possible that, you know, they're actually purposefully directing an asteroid towards the Earth to cause devastation, depopulation, change the globe. Obviously, we've all got this new whole financial system coming in with cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, deflation, inflation, everything's going crazy in the financial world. So that's just one side of things. The other side is to reduce the population to a more controllable level, which can be done through various ways, such as war. As you can see with Russia and Ukraine, that could escalate more into a world war. But, you know, I think 2025, there may be some sort of object that comes in, causing some sort of impact on the earth. And obviously I hope that doesn't happen, but you know, these are the interpretations that I'm coming up with. So I think I can close this one now, or I'll just keep it open for a couple of minutes. In reference to what I was talking about, I've kind of just marked up the characters: 2013, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 2019, and you know, obviously go on, so forth. Now going back to 2022 and the dates I think where something may happen, we have the rabbit or bunny highlighted, and I think that has a reference to Easter, obviously the Easter bunny. Next to it we have what looks like the number 7 and potentially the number 1. It doesn't show the whole leaf, but it looks like just a straight leaf, not connected to anything. So, you know, in the other interpretations, we've looked at these as ones. So I'm doing the same over here. That kind of gives you the number 17 or 71, but I'm looking at 17 because obviously if it's connected to the rabbit or the bunny, which possibly is Easter, then Easter Sunday is the 17th of April in this year. And obviously the bunny or the rabbit is looking directly towards this figure, which I possibly think is referencing the year 2022, among other things. So keep an eye out on April 17th. I'm not sure exactly what for, but in this video, the screen or the classroom goes dark and the emergency lighting lights up and a torchlight is brought out. So I think we're looking at some sort of blackout, possibly a cyber attack. They're talking a lot about that now in the news, possibly connected with Russia. Where it could be, I don't know. We got a lot of eyes on the United States, potentially on the East Coast, New York side of things. But I also have my eyes on London, not just because I live here, but I feel like there are connections in this video to London, you know, with the pound coin later on in the video, which is just here, as you can see. Obviously you've got the darkness, the shadow covering over it. Again, when the apple rolls in, we've got the leaf making a shadow, marking a number 1 across sort of an embossed embroidery on Obama's shoe, which seems to be the number 7. So again, we may have an April 17th reference there if we have a look at just the basics within a classroom, which is like A for apple, B for, you know, bear, stuff like that. That could be giving us just the A17 reference there, April 17th, which is what I've marked for 17 up here. And then the second potential date I think to look out for comes a couple months later, where I think it's connected to the Volcano Tsunami scenario, and that's August the 12th, which is a Friday. All those markings seem to be up here on the wall above this character as well. So we have the 8 in the vine leaves here, possible 1 and 2 marks down here, 1, 2 for 12, and the F comes off the side as well. Friday, August the 12th, potentially something to look out for. Again, in this video, when the apple splits open, on which you can see there is a volcano erupting, when it splits open, the suggestion is that the volcano flank collapses or something along those lines. There's a number of volcanoes around the world that have that potential, so we look out for that. But when it splits open, you can see the roots of the seed and the shadow that they make form the number 8. There's an F coming off the side. We've got 1 seed on the one side and 2 seeds on the other. So it's just like it's reinforcing that interpretation of 8F12, which can be interpreted as August or Friday, August the 12th. Look out for that volcano collapse tsunami scenario. I think that's really all I wanted to sort of address in this video. There wasn't much for me to cover because there wasn't many interpretation of dates, just to April 17th, look out for potential cyber attack, blackout scenario, and then August the 12th, look out for potential volcano collapse tsunami scenario. Those events could take place on the same day, so it could be blackout, cyber attack, volcano collapse, tsunami, all on the same day, either April 17th or August 12th. Or it could be interchangeable. Instead of a blackout on April 17th, we have a volcano collapse, tsunami, and then in August there's the cyber attack blackout scenario. I hope none of it happens, but obviously I'm just making these interpretations and hoping that none of it comes true. The other possible reference I have in this video is connected to this skeleton here. If it is having some sort of connection to April 17th, I really don't know, but Prince Philip, he died on April 17th, 2021, or at least his funeral was on April 17th, 2021. He dressed in this kind of fashion, top hat, cloak. So we could be looking at a possible reference to that, maybe a year later on the anniversary of the funeral, April 17th, Easter Sunday, some sort of event happens, and it may be connected to Russia, possibly attacking the United States, or could be connected to Britain. We have had news that has said, like, Russia threatens tough retaliatory measures against Britain, as Putin says Western sanctions are almost a declaration of war, kind of blaming the UK for, getting involved and sort of more than it should. So there could be some sort of retaliation, and that retaliation could come in the form of a cyber attack or something along those lines that knocks out the power. Hope none of it happens, but there you go. You guys, thanks for listening. If you've come this far, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.